if we have to find out why is it that God didn't just appear in the cloud, that would be an experience. God was very particular about oration about written versus oration. When God appeared to Moses for him to record the first 5 books of the Bible, he told him to write this down. In every other culture, by that time, the written tradition was not to even record history. Even some of them, like the Arab tradition, had written tradition. Some form of alphabet, Eastern, not Arab, Eastern tradition. Then the Chinese tradition had some kind of written culture. The Indians, some part of Indians had some kind of written culture. But they were not writing like for history sake and for preservation's sake. But it was there. But when you look at the way God instructed Moses to write down the history of what happened, the history of creation and everything, you discover that in most of the other cultures, it was mainly oratory narration, oral narration of history. Now, oral narration of history is prevalent all over the world. But what happens with oral narration of history is that it is easily forgotten when somebody is dead. So if God would have appeared like that, people who experience that, they would die. Then when the people, they tell the story, everybody, if you tell 4 people's story, they would all have different narration of it. Narration is a weaker way of preservation of history than written. So that is why God has to start with one lineage and get to a place where it could be written and recorded that in written form. And that's why when we talk about Christianity right now and the history of the Jewish people, it's one of the most systemized and organically structured written. They have the most, Christianity, for example, New Testament, it has some of the most structured manuscript. The 7,000 manuscripts are there. They are the oldest. They are the most widespread manuscript in history of any ancient writing down. Why? Because of God didn't want the connection to Abraham to be oratory. He wanted it to be written.
I guess the question
was, and he doesn't want it to be emotional. He wanted it to be systemic. That's why he said, I am sure that he will teach his children the ways of the Lord. I am sure. I choose it because I am sure he will teach his children the ways of the Lord. That is system. That is predictability. That is eventuality. But if it's just emotions and wonder, signs, it is experience. It is subject to emotions going there. It's subject to feeling, to emotions, to narration, it can never be recorded.
Okay, I guess that's where the confusion and the debate rises. Why I don't experience God like others? Why we have to believe other people experience? I think that's where the question rises in the mind of an atheist. Why do I have to believe somebody's experience? Why? Because you have to understand the structure, the nature of an atheist's mind. An atheist is a tormented skeptic, is somebody who needs evidence to believe something. So
he shouldn't believe another person's experience. He shouldn't. I would not encourage any atheist to believe any other person's experience, he shouldn't. He should get to a place where he will believe the evidence of his eyes rather than experience of anybody, or that even his own experience. Let him believe the evidence, the facts of the evidence of his eyes.
Okay, that's an interesting part. So you are now saying that the atheist should rather believe when they experience God and not to believe the Bible true, because the Bible appears to be somebody's experience, some group of people who experience God in a certain period of time, and now they documented what they experienced, and now they transmit it, as you say, as you'd like to call it, a systemic system that is not transmitted to teach. But the
atheist cannot know God through another person's experience. And he shouldn't do that. it should get its own experience. And that is the only reason. If you remember the word I started with the word model, and I started with the word what do you call it, prototype and models. What are prototypes and models for? If the purpose of prototype and models is not for you to believe the experience of the prototype, it's for you to duplicate, it's for you to have a formula. You don't need to believe it. You need to look at the way, the past, the principles, the formula. And it's the same principle that is still operational everywhere today. You cannot go to the laboratory without the formula. The 2 + 2 is formula. 1 + 1 is formula. Science is formula. Physics is formula. Mathematics is the formula. So what God recorded in its book, Bible, is a kind of formula. We shouldn't be looking at Bible as a book of experience. We should look at it as a book of formulas.
Okay, that's an interesting perspective. Yes. I like that. I like that very much.
So when you now follow the formula, you get your own experience.
Okay.
Just like 2 + 2 is 4. I don't need to believe it. I just need to follow the formula. When I follow the formula, I get the same result.
All right. Okay, that's interesting.
If you have been watching our videos and maybe you enjoy them, maybe you don't enjoy them, but still, we need you to help us spread the word. And for that to happen, we only need you to take 5 little steps. Please help us spread this word by liking the video. Then, if you have not yet subscribed to our channel, please go ahead and subscribe to the channel. We also need you to press the notification button, and the way to do that is to click on the bell. You see the bell there? Click on it. Then, of course, leave your comments. Let's know what you're thinking about each video. And finally, we need you to go and share the word. Share this video on your Facebook timeline, on your Instagram, and every other platform that you have. All right? Let's win the world for Christ. Thank you so much. Peace.